Yeah, bang bang. Well, I had a bit of a laugh today with a mate of mine. I come down for a bit of dinner, and we're talking about Albany prison. And he said, "What's the worst prison again you went to?" I said, "Well, there isn't a worst prison really. The one of the ones that was, so I'll say, one of the best ones was Albany prison." So anyway, so we started talking about Albany prison. I said, "Yeah, It was one of the first. It was the first prison I went to do my sentence. The Scrubs." Obviously, so it's it's an allocation prison, yeah. But I said, whilst I was in the Scrubs, of course, a bit of some trouble with some sex offenders, and then I went to the block, and I said I had a bit of trouble with a guy called Graham Young. Not trouble, but found out he was the poisoner. He killed so many people, and someone told me that when he was in Durham prison, he tried to kill about another 10 people. How true that is, I don't know. But also, there was Ian Brady was at the Scrubs when I was in the block here. I wanted to kill that geezer. I mean, it's just, to see the way he was, it drove me mad, you know what I mean? To see that this guy that hurt all them kids with that Mara Hindley, you know, it just set me a bit potty. And that's why they shipped me out. That's why they shipped me out there, you know, it definitely shipped me out for that reason, yeah. But anyway, when I got to Albany, they put me on A-Wing. And the first guy I met on A-Wing was a guy called Terry Vowles. And Terry Vowles talks to, "Hello, Ray, what would you like? Would you like a cup of tea, coffee, or cocoa?" And I thought he was gay, but he wasn't gay. But that's how they talked to Albany. It was a mad nick, you know what I mean? It's like, I didn't really realise what it was like until I went to C-Wing, yeah? First of all, a guy came up to me on A-Wing, a guy called Peter Kelly. He came over to me, introduced himself and this, that and the other. Give me T-shirts and bits and pieces. He said, you know, you'd be going to C-Wing, I suppose, you know, when you come to C-Wing, ask for me and, you know, I'll give you bits and pieces, your teas and all that. He said, because he said, "I've seen you training and all that in the gym and, you know, let's get together and start training together." So I thought, yeah, it'd be lovely, you know what I mean? So when I went to C-Wing, I didn't realise how quiet. It was really quiet wing, yeah. And they put me in my cell. Was upstairs on the far spur, yeah. And went in there. Peter come down, give me tea, coffee, everything I wanted, you know. And it was lovely, man. I loved it. He said, "Look, you're going to need a record player." He said, "I'll get you one," you know. I said, No, leave one, Pete. He said, "No, I'll get you one," you know. And me and him become white pals. Honestly, become white pals. But what surprised me in Albany, right, that I got a job in the kitchen. Good job, mate. It was a good job. But every now and again, you get funny people come in there, like really gay people, you know what I mean, getting jobs on this, doing this job, that job, and they wouldn't last very long in there because it's a bit hard. But one day I was in there, and this guy come in, and it come from my wing, C-Wing, yeah? And I've never seen this one before. I don't know, and it's maybe just come. And it's got wanting a job in the kitchen, but I've never seen it on the wing before. So it come in, and I swear to God, it was, without a shadow of a doubt, it was a woman. I swear on my life it was a woman. Had little breasts, black hair, long black hair, but had it tightened up at the back because it's in the kitchen. Had all mascara under the eyes, had all sorts of things. And the PO was an old Matlow. Well, Matlows used to work on ships and they was always out all the time. So they was a bit gay people, yeah, which we got told, yeah. And Janice was supposed to get a job on the washing up, but wound up become in a vegetarian cook, and didn't know really how to do it. So the PO was showing Janice how to do all the vegetables and this, that, and the other, how to cook it. And the PO was getting very close, too close, you know what I mean? Anyway, we used to have a laugh. Everybody used to laugh about it. We thought it was really, really funny. You know, the PO like fancies this guy Janice or this geek. I don't know what it was. Yeah. Anyway, things going on, and the whole kitchen He's laughing about it, but there's another guy in there called John. He works in the butchers. He was that way inclined, but he come from another wing. He was in the A wing. He used to cut up all the meat and got a lot of money, from doing the meats. But he was very gay. But gay, i.e., that always wanting to get hold of Janice. I mean, Janice wasn't getting hold of him, but he was like trying to get hold of Janice all the time, getting Janice in the butcher's thing and shutting the doors and whatever they was doing. You know what I mean? But anyway, on the wing, there was a guy called Billy McGee. I've always told this story before, but it's a little bit nicer, you know what I mean? And there's a guy called Billy McGee. Well, Billy McGee had long, like blonde, browny hair, and really, and it's same as really attractive, like the dark eyes and the lipstick and all this, and little chest, little boobs. They give them pills to grow boobs and all this, that and the other. And it's walking about like hello and all that going to everybody. So all the amount of guys, seriously, the amount of guys I've seen going in that cell, right, is unbelievable. Going in Billy McGee's cell. Every cell in Albany is a single cell, yeah. But the amount of guys I see going into his cell or her cell was like, and proper name people that was there, big names, yeah. Honestly, I'm saying, but big names, yeah, that was slipping into that cell. And the amount of guys I see in the shower when Billy McGee, Mary, would get stripped down to a little pair of knickers that he'd made and get into the shower, topless, with a little pair of boobs, and be in there with a guy for 10, 15 minutes. I swear on my life. And there you are, in the recess. On my life, it's having a wash or something like that, or doing something, and they're banging in the showers. It's mad, and the smell is unbelievable. You know what I mean? You wouldn't believe the smell of it. So we would really, but anyway. But Janice got caught giving a PO. This is the PO who runs the kitchen, right? Giving a PO a blowjob. Someone's come in the office without knocking on the door, and there's Janice on its hands and knees giving his PO a thing, you know, and well, mate, it was murders. The guy that come in, right, honestly, the guy that come in, got the sack, was took down the block for bad language and threatening the PO and this, that, and went straight down the block. The big geezer ain't done nothing. The geezer can't go and say to the governor, look, I caught him, whatever I see him do, caught him doing this and caught him doing that. He'd be banging trouble, so he just shut his mouth and got what he got, yeah? The PO just come out and said, looked at us all, and we all know to get our mouth shut, you know what I mean? Because no one said nothing. And Janice was like, the funniest thing with Janice, I was in the end cell, and Janice got into the first cell, the same size as me, honestly. And the amount of guys that I see going in that cell was mad. And that was more like a woman than even Mary was. That was real. That was a woman without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised that he ain't got a willy, you know what I mean? Because this was like, walk like one, talk like one, and never, ever, ever did I see it go in the shower by itself, yeah? You know what I mean? But when I say by itself, it always went in the shower. What I mean by itself? It always went in the shower by itself, never with anybody, you know what I mean? But it's always, everybody goes in itself, whether or not just of whatever they was doing to it, but there was always funny smells around, this, that, and the other, saying, oh, what's going down, you know what I mean? And because I was a big lump, and a good-looking young boy here, really, and they was all after me, these gay people, but there was quite a few in there. I think there was about 6 in there. There was Jackie. There was Jackie's boyfriend, I forget his name, but he was ex-Marine. There was a guy upstairs that burnt himself out, the gay guy, that burnt his cell out, done his mattress, killed himself. There was Billy McGee, Mary, There was Janice. I never knew Janice's real name. There was Janice. There was about another 4 or 5 that was really into it big time, you know. And people say, hey, it didn't really go on but listen, mate, it went on in prison cells, right? Because Billy McGee, which I was told, it's in my book, what happened there. Billy McGee knocked on my cell door, and I said, who is it? He said, it's Mary Ray. I said, what's up? She said, oh, well, George. Well, there's a guy that came into prison by the name of George Cockle. Well, George Cockle's name was Catapult Charlie. I mean, I've said it before, but it's a nice story. I think it's a fantastic story, you know what I mean? And George Cockle, Catapult Charlie, used to have this very, very high-powered catapult that he had on his arm, yeah? Really high-powered, and it took big barbarians. And what he used to do, him and his wife, they used to do jeweller shops. So he'd stand across the road with a barbarian, bang! And he was like top marksman with that, you know? And if they'd go over to the jeweller shop and look at it, and she'd say, point, something like that, he'd be there, boom. And he'd go through, leave a whole bit like that. She'd put her hand through, nick Rolexes, diamond rings, bracelet or whatever, and then they'd go. But they was doing it for years and years and years and years and years. But in the end, he got a little bit greedy, and he bought a Rolls Royce, and then he was doing bits of work in the Rolls Royce, so it came on top for him. I think he got a 12, and she got a 7 or a 6. They had lots of money. It was a big thing in the paper, Catapult Charlie. Anyway, so he got involved with Billy McGee. Good-looking guy. He was a good-looking guy, honestly, really, really good-looking. And he got involved with Billy McGee, the puff. And Billy McGee, them two was together like that all the time, walking around all together. No one would dare look at her, you know what I mean? George Cockle was like a bit leery. He loved her to death. And it was just like that, yeah? And then one day Billy McGee tapped on my window and saying, look, Ray started crying. You know, what happened to me, in each wings, they've got a garden in there, yeah? A lawn. So they go in there, people, when they can't get out to the big one, they go in there and sunbathe. And Billy McGee, Mary, was sunbathing one day, had a little tiny little breast, had this sort of like boob tube thing on. And I walked over and flipped it up and her tits fell out, yeah? Or his tits, or whatever. And because of that, I'll kill you, I'll stab you to death. I went, go on. I didn't even know what I got nicked for, you know what I mean? But anyway, so Billy, like when we was all in my cell, loads of us in my cell, about 5 or 6 people, all having a drink. Peter Kelly, what's his name, Togi Ludlow, Laurie Mann, there's loads of people in there. Laurie Gibbons, Laurie Mann, loads of people in there having a drink, yeah. Billy McGee knocked on my door. Ray, can I talk to you? I said, what's up? Please come out and talk to me. I need to tell you. So I went out and said, what's up? Oh, George Cockle wants me to have a gangbang. Well, there's another geezer, one of George Cockle's mates that he's in another prison with, that's come in. And George Cockle was mates with it and said, look, I've got this guy, Billy McGee, we can have a gangbang here, you go for this, I'll go for that way, you go for the other way, yeah? So, and because this Billy McGee loved this George Cockle, didn't want nothing to do with anybody else, so then she wouldn't do it. And so George Cockle give her a little clump in the ear hole, and then she come down to me crying and this, that and the other. But what George Cockle didn't realise, that Billy McGee was a nutcase. Well, it had to be like the way it was, because as being a gay, it's got a man's power and that woman's thing, isn't it? Like the women are a bit mad, aren't they? You know what I mean? But men's power and that woman's thing make you in trouble, you know. So what happened? Billy McGee, I said, look, if he does it again, tell him I'm going to give him a little clump and all this, that and the other. Well, the next day, Billy McGee works in a wood mill, right? And But she's in a wood mill, and that George Cockle's come up to her to bash her up. Well, Billy McGee had a chisel in her hand, or 2 chisels in her hand, and she's defending herself like that. And she stabbed him 16 times. Well, he died. Billy McGee got sent to Winchester, went to court. I had to go to court for Billy McGee. Billy McGee got 2 years of dismissed responsibility, and then it went somewhere else. But someone told me that it was still about, and asking for me. I went, leave it, you know what I mean? But Janice was still there. Janice was dealing with so many people in there. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of guys, right, come on about proper geezers, mate. Proper geezers, where you go on a visit, yeah, and see these guys with their wife and kids, yeah, and maybe an hour, 2 hours, or a day before that, they was doing all sorts of things with this Janice, yeah. Even before Billy McGee, Mary, got shipped out, they was doing the things well before this George Cockle come in. So they was all doing things with this Billy McGee and doing things with Mary. Jackie, the only one they wasn't dealing with is Jackie. Jackie looked a bit like the Penguin out of Batman, yeah? And Jackie was completely raving lunatic and tried to kill herself because her boyfriend was getting moved, or vice versa, and she didn't want to go. She cut all her wrists, cut all her legs, cut everything. And me and Johnny Barry, Parker Barry, the ones with the craze, we got him out, yeah. And anyway, but Billy McGee didn't ever come back to Albany, went to Winchester. But Janice, there were so many people getting involved with that Janice, I swear. You know, that Janice was the richest guy in the nick. I swear. That Janice was the richest guy in the nick, yeah? Or the richest whatever. I remember when Parky and Johnny Barry used to come back and visit sometimes, have all acid tabs, you know, Michael Dots in big tubes, big cigar tubes, Kiebra tubes, stick them up their bum, come into prison and get them out. But that Janice wound up being stoned 24/7. You know, so it goes, you know what I mean? So stoned 24/7, out of its nut all the time, walking around. Because in Albany, what you can do at night time, when you go in your cell, you press a button, bop, and when you press your button, it goes in a queue. So everyone can be out for 10 minutes at a time, yeah? So when you go there, press the button, or people used to go around to Janet's cell, right, and you know, and look for the spy, old Janet's be doing things and all this, that and there. These guys are crazy, mate. You wouldn't believe the things that was going on in that nick, mate. It's mad. Absolutely nuts. This is Albany, the Isle of Wight, supposed to be one of the hardest prisons ever, and it's full of puffery. I swear, it's full of it. And I was involved because it was on my landing, on my spur. I wasn't involved, but it was on my spur. And you could see him going in there all the time. All I wanted to do was go to the gym. That was my thing. I used to go to the gym 24/7. Gym. Not go to gym, go up gym, go to the gym. Yeah, use the gym. Yeah, and the amount of puffs go to the gym, playing badminton. It's crazy. Paul McDermott, my old mucker Paul McDermott. He ain't gay, but he used to like them, mate. I've never seen Paul do anything with them, but he was always round them, mate. Always round 24/7. Yeah, mate, Paul McDermott, yo. How you going, Paul McDermott? How you going, mate? If you're watching this, how you going, boy? Yeah, there was like people in there, mate. I just wouldn't believe what they'd get up to in there, mate. But, well, this is what prisons, and I hear people say, what was it like, Albany? And, you know, and there's no puffery going on in these nicks no more, is there? And you don't go in English jails. Listen, it's worse in English jails. It's the worst place to be is English jails for puffery. Especially, I mean, in my ball stool, it was going on in my ball stool like it was going out of fashion. My YP, well, mate, it was going on with the screws in the YP with young kids. They was doing it to young kids all the time in Aylesbury. Young boys was getting buggered and all that going. It was murder in Aylesbury. You know, that was one of the worst places I've been for that buggery with young kids. You know, especially on my wing, F&G wing, first timers and lifers, it was rife in there, mate. You know what I mean? But do you know one good thing, mate? I was big, powerful, and no one would get near me. And no, I'm telling you straight, no about that. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Roll. Please press the like button, subscribe. Nice one. Take care, nice one.